The attack in Nice, France has prompted presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump to hold off on making his announcement on his vice presidential pick. CBS News has been reporting Indiana Governor Mike Pence is getting the nod. A CBS News poll shows Trump neck and neck with Hillary Clinton in the race for the White House. Last month, Clinton was in the lead. CBS 2's Dave Lopez is live in Beverly Hills now, where a fundraiser for Trump is being held. Dave?
Well, Pat, right over my right shoulder, you can see that one agent. He may be a little out of view because of the hedge. That is the Beverly Hills home of Donald Trump, and he is currently holding his second round of fundraisers. A group of about 10 paid anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to be in there, and that was interrupted a little while ago because Mr. Trump called into Fox News Channel and he gave his opinion on what happened in Nice, France. Now, he said we don't know if it's an act of terrorism, but he did say if it is, it's time for President Obama to step up and call it what it is.
If it's radical Islamic terrorism, he ought to say it.
And then what?
And then not let people in. And then not let people into our country, Greta. We are taking people into our country. We don't know who they are. We can't let people from terrorist states and all of these people pour into our country because, you know, it only takes one or two people to create havoc. And we're allowing thousands of people. We have no idea who they are. We have to be tough.
It was an intimate gathering of 15 Donald Trump supporters having a boxed lunch in the living room with Mr. Trump in his Beverly Hills home. And what did they donate to his campaign in order to be there? If it's not too much to ask, what did you contribute to go to this little bash?
It's too much to ask.
Okay. May I ask what it cost to get in there today?
Rather not comment on it, but, you know, we're happy supporters. He's a great candidate.
What did it cost you to go in?
Oh, I have no idea. My wife handles the finances.
They did say that it was a very easygoing give-and-take session. A lot of questions, including, is it true, will Mike Pence be your vice presidential running mate?
It did.
And how did he respond?
He's being steadfast in keeping that a secret.
He did not confirm it. It came up,
okay.
And he said that Governor Pence is a really nice guy, and he wasn't saying anything at all about what the media is reporting.
They said the question of Mr. Pence did come up more than just once, and they also said they're very much aware of the type of campaigner Mr. Pence would be for Mr. Trump.
To paraphrase the director of the FBI, I think it would be extremely careless to elect Hillary Clinton as the next president of the United States.
I don't know whether he's going to be your governor or your vice president. Who the hell knows?
Security was extremely tight in this neighborhood, just off Sunset Boulevard, across the street from the Beverly Hills Hotel. Everyone who went in was thoroughly searched. Police were all around, and as the guests were leaving after their one-hour visit, they made this one thing very clear. Donald Trump is their man.
He wants to be the people's president for everyone. Give opportunity for everyone.
The money is there to get him elected as president of the United States.
Again, Donald Trump making statements earlier about the attack in Nice, France. He also issued, again, he would double down basically on what he said about Muslims. When he was asked, what would you do about it? Would you still ban them? He said, yes, I wouldn't let them in the country. Now, he is supposed to leave here probably in the next hour or so and head for Bel Air, where they will have another fundraiser today. It's a record. $449,000 per plate is the top price to get in there, and it's no one has ever had a fundraiser to that expense. Is it legal? It is, because not all the money goes to Mr. Trump. It goes to other GOP candidates, to the party itself, and also to help defray the cost of the convention. Very expensive, very legal. Mr. Trump is holding court some more. He is there's a huge CHP escort awaiting him on the other side of this block, and he will be going on to Bel Air and then to New York tomorrow to make the announcements. A very busy time, busy action, a lot of things going on here with Mr. Trump. Reporting live from Beverly Hills, I'm Dave Lopez, back to you in the studio.